I'm fine. Hearing I'm fine from a woman is the equivalent of trying to guess the Wi-Fi password in a place where the hint is, you know it. It's a test. And spoiler alert, password 123 isn't going to cut it. Instead of launching into panic mode or pretending you're suddenly fluent in womanese, remember, I'm fine often means, let's see if you're brave enough to ask me what's wrong without actually asking me what's wrong. So, what do? First, don't charge in like a bull in a china shop trying to fix everything. Approach with the grace of someone defusing a bomb with a feather. Offering to talk is great, but sometimes just being there is like saying, I'm ready to listen, and I've brought snacks. Why does I'm fine happen? It's not because she enjoys watching you squirm. Okay, maybe a little. It's more about timing. Think of it as her saying, I'm not ready to turn our living room into a daytime talk show set. She's not hiding the nuclear codes. She's just putting them in a safe for now. Surviving I'm fine doesn't mean you've dodged a bullet. It means you've earned a badge in understanding. The trick is not to become a mind reader. Because let's face it, if you could do that, you'd probably use your powers to win at poker, not navigate emotional nuances. The silent treatment. It's like suddenly finding yourself in a game of emotional hide and seek, where nobody told you the rules, the boundaries, or even that the game had started. You're left wandering around the metaphorical house, peeping behind emotional curtains and checking under rugs, trying to figure out why the atmosphere's gone quieter than a mime's day off. First off, resist the urge to mimic a stand-up comedian trying to break the silence with rapid-fire jokes. While humor helps, bombarding her with, did you hear the one about, might just deepen the silence, turning it from silent treatment to soundproof treatment. So, what's the game plan? Think of it like approaching a cat that's decided to ignore your existence. You don't chase it around the house. You sit down, act like you're minding your own business, and wait for it to come to you. In human terms, a simple, hey, I'm here when you're ready to talk, can be like putting out a saucer of milk. Patience, not persistence, is your ally here. Why the silent treatment, you wonder? It's not because she suddenly finds your voice as enjoyable as nails on a chalkboard. More likely, it's her pressing the pause button, needing a moment to collect her thoughts or simmer down. It's less about giving you the cold shoulder, and more about her needing a breather. Think of it as her inner software running a complex emotional update. Overanalyzing your words. Welcome to the Overanalyzing Your Words disaster. A funhouse mirror maze where what you said gets twisted, stretched, and sometimes turned upside down until you're wondering if you accidentally spoke in Morse code. You say tomato, she hears, I hate all your friends. And suddenly, you're not just discussing vegetables anymore. You're navigating a minefield with a blindfold on. First rule, don't double down with what I actually meant was, as if you're giving a press conference after a scandal. Your words are suddenly like wild animals that escaped the zoo, and you're trying to coax them back into their cages with a piece of raw steak. The trick? Calm clarification. Think of it as translating your own words back into a language that doesn't sound like it's coming from an alien. The game plan here isn't to start speaking in Shakespearean English to avoid misinterpretation. Instead, it's about turning on the charm of a diplomat who's trying to smooth over a minor international incident. A smile, a gentle touch, and a let's backtrack a bit can work wonders. It's about making peace, not proving a point. Why does this happen? It's not because she's got a hobby of twisting your words for sport. It's more about the emotional subtitles she's reading between the lines. Maybe it's past experiences or just the mood of the day turning your I'm not a fan of this movie into our tastes are incompatible, and thus, so are we. It's less about the words and more about the emotional baggage they're carrying. Your job? Be the baggage handler. Expecting you to read her mind. This is where you're supposed to be a psychic, guessing her wants and needs like you've got a crystal ball on your nightstand. It's like playing a game show where the questions haven't been asked yet, but you're already expected to buzz in with the right answers. You think you're playing checkers, but she's playing 3D chess. And somehow, you're supposed to know 3 moves ahead. First up, don't go buying a turban and a deck of tarot cards, thinking you'll divine your way out of this. The key isn't to become Professor X and try to tap into her thoughts. Instead, approach with the humble admission that, alas, your mind-reading powers were left in your other pants. A simple, I want to understand you better, can you help me out, acknowledges the gap without turning it into the Grand Canyon. Why does this happen? It's not because she enjoys watching you flounder like a fish out of water, trying to guess why she's mad about the socks on the floor. Or was it the comment about her sister? It's more about the silent expectation that you're tuned into the same emotional frequency, catching signals she's not even aware she's sending. Think of it as her being a radio station broadcasting on a frequency you didn't know you needed to tune into. Navigating out of this telepathic maze isn't about developing ESP or starting your psychic hotline. It's about fostering an environment where expectations can be voiced, not silently broadcasted. It's like turning on the subtitles in a foreign film. Suddenly, what seemed like indecipherable dialogue makes perfect sense. Changing moods. Stepping into the changing moods disaster is like being an amateur weatherman in the tropics. Sunny one moment, thunderstorms the next, and you left your umbrella at home because you thought it was going to be a nice day. You're navigating emotional climates that change faster than fashion trends, trying to keep up without tripping over your own feet. Rule number 1. Don't act like a confused weather vane, spinning wildly trying to predict the next mood. Instead, adopt the zen of a seasoned gardener who knows that weather changes are just part of the landscape. You might not understand why the sudden shift from sunshine to thunderclouds, but you can still be prepared with a metaphorical raincoat, aka a steady presence and a supportive word. Why do these atmospheric mood changes happen? It's not because she enjoys watching you scramble for cover under the nearest tree. Think of it as nature's way of saying, hey, there's a lot going on under the surface. Just as the earth needs both rain and sunshine to thrive, so do our emotional lives need variety to grow. Getting through this emotional weather pattern isn't about building a bunker and waiting for clear skies. It's about learning to dance in the rain and appreciate the sunshine when it breaks through. Show empathy without trying to fix every cloud. Sometimes, just acknowledging the storm, I see you're feeling upset, can be like offering an umbrella. The Closet Conundrum. Welcome to the Closet Conundrum, a disaster zone where I have nothing to wear becomes an epic saga of wardrobe woe. It's like standing at the base of Mount Everest, clad in flip-flops and a tank top, wondering how you're supposed to scale it with no gear. Her closet is full, yet somehow it's as if every piece of clothing has vanished into a black hole, leaving behind only despair and the echoing question, but what do I wear? First off, don't suggest the first thing you see, like you're trying to solve a Rubik's Cube by colorblind luck. No, this requires the finesse of a diplomat negotiating peace treaties. A compliment here isn't just nice, it's strategic, like offering a lifeline to someone drowning in a sea of fabric. You always look great, but that blue dress really brings out your eyes. Can be the difference between capsizing and catching the wind in your sails. Why this conundrum? It's not about the clothes, it's about how she feels in them. Every option she dismisses isn't just a piece of fabric, it's a character in today's performance, and it's not fitting the role. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to support her until she finds the costume that makes her feel ready to take on the world. It's less about the garment and more about the confidence it bestows. The shopping expedition. Ah, the shopping expedition, where a quick trip to the store evolves into a marathon that would make even a seasoned shopper sweat. It's like setting off on a leisurely stroll through the park and somehow winding up in a jungle, sans map. You thought you were just popping in to pick up a few things, but suddenly you're on an odyssey through every aisle, debating the merits of this shade of blue over that one, and why this fabric feels like a cloud, whereas that one feels like sandpaper. Don't start marking the floors with breadcrumbs just yet. Your role here isn't to rush the process like you're trying to set a new land speed record for shopping. Instead, think of yourself as the supportive sidekick in this retail adventure. The Samwise to her Frodo, if Frodo had a thing for sales and seasonal collections. Your enthusiasm, or at least your best impression of it, can turn what feels like a slog into something resembling fun. Oh, look at this one, with genuine interest, or your best acting, can go a long way. Why the expedition? It's not just about acquiring items, it's about the hunt, the exploration, the quest for that perfect piece that's as much about the journey as the destination. It's a treasure hunt where the prize is sometimes elusive but always worth the adventure. Recognize that this isn't merely shopping, it's an exploration of taste, preference, and the endless quest for that just right item. In the grand narrative of your relationship, the shopping expedition is but a chapter, one that, when navigated with care, can lead to laughter, bonding, and sometimes, the perfect pair of shoes. Let's change you. Embark on the Mission Makeover Odyssey, where "we need to change this about you" becomes the quest you never signed up for. It's like waking up one day to find you're the main character in a reality show called Extreme Makeover Personality Edition, and the audience is just one, her. Suddenly, your habits, hobbies, and even haircuts are under the microscope, with suggestions for improvement flying at you like arrows in an epic battle scene. First and foremost, don't armor up and prepare for battle as if your very identity is under siege. This isn't a fight, it's a negotiation. Approach with the diplomacy of a United Nations peacekeeper. A gentle, "I appreciate your input, but here's why this is important to me," acknowledges her concerns while standing your ground. It's about finding middle ground, not defending your territory to the last man. Why does this happen? It's not because she sees you as a fixer-upper. a project to be completed. Often, it's about care and concern, albeit expressed in a way that feels more like a critique than a caress. She's envisioning a future, one where you both grow together, sometimes forgetting that change must be self-motivated, not externally imposed. Navigating the mission makeover landscape requires the skill of a diplomat and the heart of a warrior. It's about communicating your boundaries while understanding her intentions. Open discussions about why certain things are important to you both can turn a contentious makeover mission into a collaborative journey of mutual growth.